Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mayday Mayhem. And this is a different episode, and this episode is called How the Lie Started. And we are talking about the very new and very local case that is here in Chicago, Illinois, of course. And this is the case, like I said, that's very new and that just happened here in Chicago. This is the case of Demari Perry. Now, this is how the last started. Now, it was said that you see this beautiful baby right here. He's 6 years old. Okay, he was 6. Okay, let me tell y'all how the last started. Now, I say that because I have a 6-year-old. Okay, now, I'm sorry if y'all hear noise in the background. I have a cat and she's having her cat time right now while it's quiet. As y'all know, I'm also still coming off of a migraine. So I guess she's enjoying having lights on too. So excuse her if you hear her in the background playing. But as we get back to this poor baby, now I have a 6-year-old, and I'm pretty sure some of y'all have 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 21-year-olds, or some of you nieces, nephews, or whatever you may have. But this baby is 6 years old. Well, it was. Now, and it hurts my heart. This baby's birthday was December 30th. Please remember that, okay? His birthday was December 30th. And why it's hit so hard to me? Because my birthday is December 31st. So he's a fellow baby Capricorn. And that's why it hit so hard. But his birthday was December 30th. He was supposed to around, what was this, January 4th or 5th? Around January 4th. He was supposed to have went to a party with his sister, his 16-year-old sister, and went to a party in Skokie. Now, they're from North Chicago, which would be what you would call the North Lawndale area or whatever. But he was from North Chicago. He was supposed to have went to a party with his sister on the 4th at around 2 or 3 o'clock in Skokie. They were supposedly driven by a girl and her and a guy named Wacko or Chaos that had a tattoo over his eye. And the girl had a son in the car named Tatum that was the same age as Demaria here. 6 years old now. Listen to this story. They drove to a yellow brick house in Skokie. They don't know the address. The 16-year-old got to the place where it was supposed to be a party / play date. Now, went to this party in Skokie. Don't know the address. The 16-year-old daughter allegedly had drinks. Someone must have put something in her drink. Now, had woke up allegedly 2 hours later, and Demari was missing. 6-year-old was missing, and she didn't come home until Wednesday, January 5th, the next day at around 6 or 7 o'clock to tell her mother that Demari is missing. Now, don't none of that shit sound right. Now, when I first heard that, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, don't none of that sound right. So you mean to tell me You went to a party, to a place you did not know, supposedly on a play date party. You drove in a car with a girl named Monique that was about 20 years old that had a 6-year-old boy with her. You had drinks. Allegedly, you had drinks. Must have had something in your drink. You woke up 2 hours later and your little brother was gone and you didn't come back until the next day. And when you came back, he was gone. Then y'all called police looking for him. Well, what's the address of the house that you went to in Skokie? Oh, I don't know. It was just a yellow brick house with a outdoor back porch. Anybody from the Midwest Chicagoland area, you ever been to Skokie? You just described damn near every house in Skokie, Chicago, every neighboring suburb. A yellow brick house with an outdoor back porch. That's damn near every house in Chicago, in the Midwest. Well, you don't know well, what's the girl's name? Oh, Monique. And who was she with? Oh, well, it was a dude. His name was either Wacko or Chaos. Okay. And what was the little boy's name? Tatum. He was 6 years old. Now, when the story first broke, the mother was given all of these. Now, the mother name is, pull this bitch picture up. I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this. The mother's name, this is her. Jannie Perry. That's the mother. Jannie Perry. She the one that was telling the story. And I say a story because we now know it was a convoluted fucking lie. Okay? Because for once, the FBI jumped in on this because the FBI even said that this shit didn't sound right. It didn't sound right. How did he get from North Chicago to Skokie? Then the girl come back a day later. Now, from someone who has been drugged, that has been drugged, you don't wake up no 2 hours later and what happened? No, it be several hours later and you don't know what the fuck has happened. Okay, you have no clue what has happened. You have a very convoluted memory. You're foggy. You don't even know where the fuck you at until you honestly get your bearings and try to understand. It's not an hour processing. Oh my God, 2 hours later, I woke up. No, it's a few hours. You're talking several hours because you're out cold. It's not a 2-hour process. I'm sorry, it's not. I'm from my experience from being literally drugged. No, I was out for hours, for literally hours. So, and it just didn't sound right. It just honestly did not sound right. And why it didn't sound right? Because literally, the 6th, they found this baby's body in an abandoned building in Gary, Indiana. Yes. They found his body in an abandoned building in Gary, Indiana. And now 3 people in his family has been charged with his murder, along with his 21-year-old brother. Let me pull up his information. His 21-year-old brother has been charged with his murder and disposal of his body. He has been set on a $3 million bond. His mother has been charged with the murder, disposal, of his body. She is on a $5 million bond, and a 16-year-old juvenile is being held in juvenile detention center, which we are assuming allegedly is probably the minor 16-year-old for, her part. But now this is where viewer discretion is advised. The conditions of this child's body is apprehensible. They are saying that this child was beaten. He died of hypothermia. And it looks like his death was December 29th, a day before his fucking birthday. You trifling bitch. You trifling motherfucker. Some people do not deserve motherfucking kids. And I'm sorry to be angry like that. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sometimes my anger gets the best of me. That's why I have a podcast where I go off like this on my podcast. But in this case right here, y'all gonna get a little sneak peek of how I get be going off. She a trifling asshole. She don't deserve kids. And it's fucked up that she had 6 kids. This trifling hoe had 3 more other kids. And guess what? Guess what, y'all? DCFS has been involved with all of her kids. And see, this is what blows my fucking mind with DCFS. Now, this trifling hoe right here. I'm sorry. I'm finna stop with the obscenities. This trick right here actually wrote a letter to DCFS, allegedly wrote a letter to them 2 years ago saying she was going to kill him. So why did you not take him out of that home? You knew he had been beaten. There had been allegations of him being starved, beaten. And you've seen him have bruises and shit on his body. And you mean to tell me that y'all let him stay there and continue to be tortured? Do y'all understand? You don't understand what I'm saying. Let me move this ugly ass hoe off this page. Let me take that back. She's not an ugly woman, but she's evil. She's an evil bitch. Let me move this evil bitch off this page. You don't understand the severity of how this child died and suffered. You don't understand. You don't understand. Let me show a picture of him so you understand how this beautiful baby died. He died from being beat and hypothermia. Hypothermia. Do you understand that? Hypothermia. He died from being beat. When they did an autopsy of him, it was actually, you know how your blood's supposed to coagulate and all that, and sometimes it be a little chunky or sometimes runny. His was crystallized into ice. His body was wrapped in plastic wrapped. They tried to burn his body. They tried to burn him. And then they kept his body in a cold place for a few days and then disposed his body in Gary, Indiana, in an abandoned building a few days later. And do you know the reason why they say that this was done to him? He had done something, and the mother wanted to chastise him for something he had did. So she beat him, put him in the shower with cold water. And that's literally how he died. He was in the cold water. They put him on the cold water. Now, don't forget, December 30th, it was quite cold outside. It was quite cold. Put him under cold water. He started throwing up and he died. So he died of hypothermia. They tried to set him on fire to try to get rid of the body, but that wasn't working, of course. Wrapped him up in, of course, tape, set him in a cold area, like a car, for a cold, because don't forget, I'm sorry, I didn't let y'all know, he didn't have nothing on for drawers. That's all he had on was underwear. No t-shirt, no pants, no socks, no shoes, nothing. All he had on was drawers, underwear. That's it. So you brought this life into the world to kill him. Like I said, she had three other kids. They, of course, have been placed where? In DCF custody. But if you would have took all these kids away, 5 of them would have been placed in DCF custody, because don't forget, the 21-year-old, he's grown. Now, for real, the 21-year-old, he's grown. The 16-year-old, she's 16. So, of course. Then she had 3 more other kids in between this baby right here, Demari. He was the youngest. The 6-year-old, he was the baby. He was the youngest. So she has 3 more kids in between him and the 16-year-old. Can you imagine the horrors that these children had to endure? Imagine the horrors that the 16-year-old had to endure. Because it's alleged, I have to say alleged, that, of course, the mother was the one that orchestrated all this. And she even pretty much alleged, they did her arraignment yesterday because she was in the hospital. She was actually in the hospital the day that he went, that she announced him missing or whatever. She allegedly fell ill, but they took her out of that hospital. Oh, no. You ain't sick. She played sick. Because you trying to cover up what you did. You killed your own child. And like I said, DCFS has been inside of her house. And there's even activists right now in front of our governor in Illinois talking about these cases right here with DCFS. Like, how does this keep happening? And you take kids out of homes where nothing is going on, where they're actually being well fed, taken care of, and you take them out of homes and put them in homes where they are being killed, malnourished and everything, when it doesn't have to happen. But children like this that do need to be taken out of the homes, you don't do anything about it. And they end up killed, beaten, murdered, and malnutrition by their own folks, because they are being looked at as a check. So, honestly, all I can say, I'm praying for them other children. They're going to need, again, a lot of therapy. The 16-year-old, she's going to need a lot of therapy. All them kids going to need a lot of therapy. Even the 21-year-old, we don't know what his mother has put him through. Even though he has a long rap sheet, even though he's been in and out of jail himself, but look at the upbringing he had. Look at his mother. You know what I'm saying? Even when the story came out, the police knew that this story was false. Even when I heard it, I was like, how can this be a true story? When if my daughter, like I said, I have like a lot of y'all know, I have 4 daughters. And of course, my daughters have taken the little ones places before. And they've, of course, come back and, Mama, we did this, we did that, da 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 this, da 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 that. And they've taken them with places with other kids and stuff. And no problems. And if it was a problem, they call me immediately. Look, Mama, Jada acting a fool. You got to come get her. Blah, blah, blah. It was right, this, that, and the third. They've always said, or it was never a problem. And for you to, or even if they was taking them to the corner store, Mama, we going to Dunkin' Donuts. I knew exactly which Dunkin' Donuts you was going to. You wasn't going to the Dunkin' Donuts all the way on 75th and Vincennes. No, you going to the Dunkin' Donuts right here on 35th and Vincennes. You know what I'm saying? You going to the one right here. You're not going to the one all the way across town. I know exactly where you're going. You see what I'm saying? It's a difference. You know where they're going. And for you not to know, and then, oh, it's a 3-story building. Oh, I don't know. How you don't know? And then well, she must have had something to drink, and they must have put something in her drink. And then, well, I told her she couldn't go. It was just, the story changed every time, and you could clearly see this ain't adding up. Like, something is not right with this story. And then you was drugged, and you woke up 2 hours later, and you didn't call when you saw your brother was missing. You came home the next day without him. Monique brought you home, but the boy was gone, and the dude was. It was just a whole convoluted story that you could clearly see did not make any type of sense. So, her bond was set at $5 million. His was set at $3 million. But they did say it was post-mortem, so they did try to char his body. Of course, after he was died. Like I said, his internal organs was partially frozen. So like he was really like frozen solid. It's sad because you're supposed to have children to love and cherish and to live on your legacy and to grow up and to to live on and preserve your future and live on and be a better extension of yourself. But I don't understand women these days, or parents these days. They don't have the same moral compass or the same parental compass. And like, she's only 2 years younger than me. Like, we're damn near the same age. So it's not like I can say, oh God, like she's 10 years younger than me or she's 10 years older than me. Like, no, we're damn near the same age, yo. Like, we grew up in the same era. There's no reason why you would do this to your children, and you can't say, oh, I was abused as a child, or this happened to me, I didn't know any better. Oh, yes, you did, because it gets to a certain part in your life where if something bad happened to you, you don't want to expel that on your children. You know what I'm saying? So if it was bad to you and you don't like that happening to you, why would you do that to your kids? You know what I'm saying? So to say it happened to you is not an excuse. That's a cop-out and a coward-ass way of saying some shit to do to a kid. So I'm praying for the other children. And see stories like this, it makes me want to bring back the death penalty. Yeah. And I'm not trying to say mental illness couldn't have played a part in this, but you was not mentally ill to conceal a body. You know what I'm saying? Mentally ill people don't try to conceal a body, hide a body, tell convoluted stories, and then try to hide a body. No, if you was mentally ill, you would have like the young lady that was riding around with her niece and nephew in the trunk of a car for a year and a half or something like that. Now I can possibly see mental illness probably playing into that. You know what I'm saying? Mental illness probably did play into that. You know, she was mentally disturbed. She really did have a history of mental illness. Like something was wrong with that young lady. But in this situation, no, because you lied, you knew what you did was wrong, you concealed and you made up a common lie, convalescent lie, and you included your kids on this lie. So you knew exactly what you were doing. And I'm willing to bet 9 times out of 10, you included your younger child in on this lie because by them being a juvenile, they wouldn't get a charge. So you've probably been doing this a very long time. And you actually have done real harm this time by killing your child and trying to put your kids, well, not trying to, but actually putting your kids in this. So I'm just praying for the other children, for their rehabilitation, because they're going to need a lot of therapy. We don't know what other abuse they've been under and what other things they have seen. So pray for the children, pray for each other, pray for these other kids that we don't see abused. And, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, So we'll be ending the stream for today. If no one told you they love you, I do. I really, truly do. Because a lot of kids do need love that they are not getting it at home. So no one told you they love you. I do. I really, truly do. Do better today than you did yesterday and strive for a better tomorrow today. And we'll see you next time for another stream of the Mayday Mayhem.